Hi class, I'm going to get you started with creating a 2-page spread in InDesign. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go to InDesign. Now, if you've never used InDesign before, there's a lot of features that are similar to Photoshop and Illustrator. So if you've used one of those, it shouldn't be too difficult to pick it up. But this is a page layout program. So we're going to go to File, New, Document. And our options here, it usually defaults to picas, which you saw in the other video that I mentioned from Cooper Union. We're going to change this to inches. We're going to make sure that it's 10 by 10. Now, even though we're going to deal with a 2-page spread, we're going to ask for 4 so that we can get some facing pages together. We're going to set the columns to 3 so that each page will have 3 columns. And then the margins, we're going to set them to 1/4 of an inch, which is in decimals, so that would be 0.25. If you set 1 and this little lock is on, it'll set all 4, which makes it easy. So we're going to hit create, and you'll see 1 page, but if you navigate to pages over here, you'll see that you have what would be, because it's making a book, because it's page layout. So the first page would be the front cover and the back page would be the back cover, but we're not going to worry about that for this. Going to click on page 2, double click on it, and then you'll be able to see both pages. You can change your view here, fit spread in window, right? So you can see all 6 columns. So these 3 columns would be on your left and the other 3 columns are on your right. Now, to create text, right, you can click on the T and you can drag this open and now you have a text box. Now, as we spoke about before, you want to try to line these things up so that they work within the columns, okay? So you can spread this across the 3 columns, and now you can set the columns for this text box. You can go up to Object, Text Frame Options, and you can set this to gutters as well, right? So we can set this to be 3, and I'm going to say okay. So now if I insert text, now you're going to put your own text in here, but there's a little trick. Fill with placeholder text, right? You can see that this text is going across 3 columns. All right, so obviously you're going to select your font of choice according to the assignment, and you're going to put your own text in here, but you can see how that works. For a picture, this little box here is where you can create a text box, and then you can go up to File, Place, and then you can navigate to any picture that you want. I'm picking one that's theoretically going to load. What do I have here? Here, this one is loading. We'll put this one in here. Okay. And there's all kinds of options here for fitting your photo. You can fill the frame proportionately or fill the content proportionally. You can play around with this and you'll see how that's going to work. Now, as we spoke about in the other video as well, you want to try to keep everything to the width of your columns, right? So I'm going to try to make this as big as the 2 columns, so we're not breaking the column, right? I'm going to just keep making it a little bigger, right? Until we're 2 columns, and then we can move our text down so that it fits below it, right? And we want to make sure this is within the, got a little too big. It's being difficult here today. Just gonna do that. I can actually just pull it within my box. Okay, here we go. All right, so now everything is 2 columns and everything is within the grid. Okay, that's just to get you started. If you see a little red X over here, little red plus sign, that means there's more text in your box that's overflowing. you can click on that box and start over here. And guess what? Your text will overflow here. And then you can go back to your text frame options and select 3 columns again. And now you want to extend the box so it matches the underlying columns, right? And then you can change this so that your hang line is the same as that over there, right? And then if you want to do a headline, you can do a big headline here. Okay, and if I make this nice and big, I can look at my properties. Should tell me how big yeah, properties will tell me how big this is. So I'm going to make this really big, maybe even bigger, 150, right? Now, I have to be concerned with my gutter, but it looks like the gutter is going right in between those letters. So that would work, right? And you'd have to kind of jigger this a little bit so that it would go within your columns, right? Make it bigger, smaller, using all your properties over here. Anyway, good luck. Hopefully that gets you started. Try to watch some videos in InDesign to try to get familiar with how it works if you're not. Again, with your student ID, you can log into Adobe. Look at some videos on YouTube, learn how to use InDesign to get you started, and reach out with questions if you have them. Good luck.